See, now I feel like you're baiting me because you invoked the word LARP, and I've been tweeting and thinking a lot about this idea. And it's funny, this is one of the things that the postmodernists really understand. Where I part ways with our postmodernist friends is that they just see LOL, nothing matters. For me, quite the contrary. And I was talking about a poem or something in class. The line was, dressing in your Sunday best. And none of my kids knew what the hell that was. Sunday best, like, what are you talking about? And of course, it's shorthand. Whether you go to church on Saturday or Sunday, right, everybody of a certain generation knew exactly what you meant when you said put on your Sunday finest, right? And so even the guy who went to work every day with a blue collar, and work boots and whatnot, showed up on Sunday in a basic suit. The guy who went to the office building and litigated things in the courtroom, who showed up in a suit Monday through Friday, showed up on Sunday or Saturday in a suit. Right. And there was something about the dignity of the proceeding dictated that you show up appropriately attired. Right. And it was fascinating to me. And I wonder, if you could draw anything out of that. Is the draining of collective spiritual work that we used to call religion, is a draining of that space a cause or an indicator, I wonder?
What's reality? I don't know. When my bird was looking at my computer monitor, I thought, that bird has no idea what he's looking at. And yet, what does the bird do? Does he panic? No, he can't really panic. He just does the best he can. Is he able to live in a world where he's so ignorant? Well, he doesn't really have a choice. The bird's okay, even though he doesn't understand the world. You're that bird looking at the monitor, and you're thinking to yourself, I can figure this out. Maybe you have some bird ideas.
Imagine a world where boundaries blur between reality and fiction, with Mikhail Gorbachev leading the charge. Gorbachev didn't just challenge political norms, he dared to break the fourth wall in storytelling. "Tear down that fourth wall," he exclaimed, inviting us into a new era of engagement. His metaphorical call wasn't for Berlin alone. It was a clarion call to storytellers and audiences alike. Engage directly, break barriers, and foster a dialogue. Gorbachev's words echo in the halls of creativity. As storytellers, it's our turn to tear down that fourth wall, inspired by Gorbachev's daring challenge. Join us in this creative revolution. Tear down the walls that confine your stories. Share, like, and subscribe for more inspiration.
Howdy. This is the Larpgate Chevron Chevette stream, a Grimgris stream on YouTube with Grimgris, your host, General Griswold Gaius-Grim of the Second LARP Aggression Protocol. I was hoping another general would step up by now, but alas, you know how this works. We got to get to business. You have a savings you receive by participating. By gaining participatory knowledge of a Grimgris stream, you gain a savings throw against mind control for an opportunity for half damage. All you have to do is choose the die that's going to roll over 10, and whether that one's survival, social, wisdom, or heart. And that's the basis on which you resist the mind control. You make that choice, survival, social, wisdom, or heart. I shika roll, and then 10 or higher, half damage. Bonuses do apply. Ask the hive mind, the chat they call it, for more information on how bonuses and where to get them. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Survivalist, doing well, half damage for you. That's a 15. Socialist, squeaking on in there with a 10 for those that chose your social network. Lovers of wisdom, you're going to need a bonus. That's the number 9 for you. Heart folks, +3 to next stream's live stream. Save. Nat 20 for you, and the deuce for the Indigo kids. You got the deuce today, kids. You're taking the full damage. Welcome. Isn't that a great hat? It doesn't cost that anymore. I kicked it back up to 33 because, you know. Remember it. We want dang, I don't even have any cards on deck. What am I gonna fiddle with? Remember that time? In the OA? She'd just been kidnapped and learned that she'd be spending years under experimentation of science man feeding her goat pebbles, and football man makes her do jumping jacks. Such is the power of a contextual shift, And then every time you think you're getting ready to do a live stream and you get it all set up and you know what you're going to say, there's a contextual shift as you actually go into the streaming of the live, and that's interesting. It makes me think that
people very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king. Happy, many down, many jack king from right, just new king, big, great, can, new, happy. The owls are not what they seem, the owls. People very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king. Happy, many down, many jack king from right, just new king, big, great, can, new, happy. The owls are not what they seem. The owls are not what they seem. The owls, people very just king, great king. People error, people king, big, just king. Happy, many down, many jack king from right, just new king, big, great, can, new, happy. The owls are not what they seem, the owls. People very just king, great king.
I don't remember noticing before that it had the hole in its head, like the what's his face, the comedian from the Alan Moore.
Remember, everybody, there is no agency. We want what's best. Yeah.
LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. That was a McMo one, I think. I believe that was a McMo masterpiece. I think that was his stylistic impression, signature thereof. Okay. Well, looky there, it's the sociologist in the house. Didn't you make your savings throw, Clara? One of the benefits of channel membership is you get to make special emojis, and one of the special emojis you can make is the 7 indigo. Apparently, she needs more bonuses. More bonuses. Okay, this is a stream, and that part's happening. The basis for this stream is in his downfall. My sympathies are going out to Papa Peterson, and so when the algorithm offered me one of his clip videos that they produced themselves, I thought, all right, I'll give this one the shot. See what the angle is here. It's as far as like say there's a different flavor of the dialogos depending on who the person is sitting across, like. And what as we chide him for being too sensitive to status of the person they're sitting across from, but this clip was a pretty tasty flavor, and it has an important bit that is really the impetus for a lot of this particular stream we're having right here. So here's a lead in, and I'll stop when it gets there.
Stage, and I just vacuumed the crowd for 5 minutes.
Oh yeah,
until they settled down.
Until they focused.
And
you know, one of the things I tell speakers is not to start speaking until everyone is silent, right? Because if you start speaking before they're silent, you've given them permission to rustle around and talk.
Right.
So you wait, and if you wait, everyone will go silent. Partly because they're wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're expecting you to start. So you just wait. Then it's dead silent. Then you wait a little longer because you want people thinking, what the hell's going on here? Then they're paying attention. Then you go. That's much better.
And I saw you do that at the Beacon. And as a comedian, you might go, I liked what Jordan did. You know what? I'm going to hold it for 10 more seconds. And maybe I'll walk off.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Man in the Moon, who was that? Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman.
Kaufman.
Yes.
He would do that.
Yeah.
This is me chasing this thing, This is how I steer. This is me chasing this thing, This is how I steer.
Me
yeah,
quite a bit.
It takes a lot of confidence to do that, to hold that silence.
If you take a risk like that up top, though, the crowd also might trust you and go, geez, that guy's got some balls.
Yeah.
You know, we might be a little more submissive now.
Well, the crowd wants to know. The crowd is hoping that there's a reason they're there paying attention to you. And if you don't think that there's a reason, if you're not in control, and I don't mean command, I mean if you're not orchestrating the event, well, what the hell good are you? Right? I mean, you're the one that's point of focus, and so it's up to you to indicate some confidence.
You have
And some invitation. Your favorites.
That's not the damn part. Seriously, that's not the part. I gotta find it now. Maybe it was halfway. Here's the 4:33 of 9 minutes.
getting softer and interviews where I could tell you're, a little more hard. But I do want to get back to that silly, just silly physical comedy, stuff everybody can laugh at.
Yeah.
I had to go in really hard on all the stuff, the wokeism and all that stuff. And that.
This happened to be the Red Church cut that it showed me. It wasn't the card of the show cut, but it was like sometimes when you cut the cards, you look, and it's the one it showed me. I thought Sacred Order of Foolish Transparency.
That'll be a gift that is laid out forever.
It's nice to be able to do things with a sense of play.
Yeah.
That's the optimal state if you can manage that.
That's also,
even with serious things. That's hard.
It's a good.
That's the bit.
If you think
a gift that is laid out forever.
It's nice to be able to do things with a sense of play.
Yeah.
That's the optimal state if you can manage that.
That's also,
even with serious things.
Challenge accepted, and my submission to you, sir, is the Larpgate, in which YouTube providers are captaining vessels that appear on the surface of attention platforms with their crew of underlings and skilled lobster monkey skill. It's like a crew. It's like the Firefly, but it's fire ants in the flood of information, and then which were a network which will eventually help the others achieve harmonic synchrony and come online through the power of the dream catcher of optimal grip. I hope you're feeling virtually not alone. There's some feet. The dream catcher of optimal grip. So that's what we're doing here. This part here.
That's
wokeism and all that stuff. And that'll be a gift that is laid out forever.
It's nice to be able to do things with a sense of play.
Yeah.
That's the optimal state if you can manage that.
That's also,
even with,
so the question I have for you is if you weren't just LARPing audience, like someone behind the fourth wall being entertained, and realized that it was an interactive, creative environment of human expression and cognition that you're participating in, how would you roll your character? How would you attribute your stats? That's the question of the Larpgate, is who else are you? Who else are you? It's very serious, because whoever else you are has access to legal and physical and reality consequences. However, who else is in there that wants to come out and play? That's the Red Church card of the show, the seven of clubs. Welcome to the Larpgate, part of the Virtually Not Alone network. Shout out Saint Sartori.
Remember it. There is no agency. We want
A we know about kayfabe is that he's a dog, and also it's participatory. And I think there's a difference we have going on, where one side acknowledges it, and they participate knowing that it's rigged, right? And then the other ones are just participating, they're playing along, they know it's rigged. There's a thing here going on where your acceptance of how to interface with kayfabe, how to participate in kayfabe, whether or not that includes the fact that it's fake and scripted or not, is it play? I don't. Like I said, this was the edge of my thinking aloud. So the archetype, at least as far as I can tell, that I'm trying to manufacture as a TV station, as part of mass media propaganda, is that of us as fire ants coming together in small intentionality networks that will eventually achieve synchronic harmony. Hermio. We're into the sea of bullshit, forming small networks that will eventually come online. Now, I don't, but want to be an ant? Is that a shitty archetype to tell me? What the hell else do you have out there? Nothing.
Always. All the good stuff is always muted, man. It's how it works. Everybody you see making corn emojis in the hive mind, they all get the +5. A plus, no, yeah, you give a bonus today. A +5 to their next stream saving throws because they called me out for muted. There's Netherlands. All right, so that's it. But I was wondering if one of those people was that Israeli wrestler guy who didn't bother putting on any kayfabe when he came into the corner trying to teach people about kayfabe with his little chart and graph. It'd be great if that guy could put on a show for us the way we put on a show for him. That'd be great. Oh, casino deck card of the show is the ace of clubs. Isn't that interesting? You have more clips? Sure. That one. Here, this happened. I think it's kind of quiet, but here's the 33rd minute of it.
That are plugged into your salience network. One is your default mode network and one is your task focus network. Your task focus network is trying to get you to keep your attention on the task of listening to this bizarre Canadian professor. And then you got your default mode network that's saying, let's mind wander. Let's think about other things. Let's go, yeah, that was a great dinner I had. Oh, I wonder if Karen still likes me. And they're set up. And this is like biological evolution. The default mode network introduces variation, options that you could consider. The task focus network kills most of them off, but not all of them. And so you make a couple of connections and you move forward. It's just like evolution, variation, selection. And they're doing that on what you find salient. That's how it's working. Relevance realization is strongly analogous to biological evolution. Relevance realization is like biological adaptivity, only faster. Now, here's the thing. Where is the biological adaptivity of the great white shark? Is it in the shark? No, because I put the shark in the desert, it dies. Is it in the ocean? No, but
Why aren't you helping? Why did you do that to that shark?
The list?
Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right? What room? I want to cast magic missile. A room where he's casting all these spells from. He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting magic missile.
Why are you casting magic missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
In all our searching, the only thing we've found that makes the emptiness bearable is each other.
Sharks don't have fur. Sharks don't have fur. I don't remember what I was gonna say, but this tab is open.
I think physically embodied. I don't think that it can be completely real in this digital space. So that's why I mean these conferences I think are wonderful. The fact that people are doing, that are meeting locally, fractally at least, and doing these groups, I think is a great idea. But we have to be deliberate about it.
Now, you might say, Grim, when you say all this ship captaining and the lobster monkey things, what's that all about? Here's an example. Here's a live example to help you understand. Since me and Gavin both are operating YouTube channels, right? We're both ship captains in this situation. And like the way he's captured, like I have this one, which by default StreamYard puts me down here, but he's arranged his here where he's on this side, on the right side, in such a way that the title of the video he's playing is there for anyone to see at all times. And that's a difference in the lobster monkey skill hierarchy of captaining a YouTube channel. Does that make sense?
So I agree with that. I want to first build on it. The brain, and this is one way in which it's unlike our current machines, does encoding specificity. Because the brain is so drenched in relevance realization, it stores as much of the context. So take a test, learn the information in a room, divide all the people up. Half the people come back to the same room, half the people go to just a different room just down the hall, right? And the people that come to the same room on average do better because the brain is storing the entire context, because it's trying to hedge its bet on what might turn out to be relevant in the future. It's a very, very powerfully adaptive. And so all of that goes into, you're right, we're losing so much of.
It's your fault you let the clip run that long, Gavin. I was trying to give you your.
We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see. Doing what is right for me is lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency.
All right, then let's do this part before we get to that part that this asshole set up for me to do. It turns out at the end of this premiere that John Verrecki did on his channel today is that the altar thing in the back is an app. Which we how to summon a demon. He's now got an app, I guess. It's fascinating, but one of the parts of the thing that he's claiming, because you see here, it says what the AI can never be is what it says. But what came out of me listening to it was more that the AI just can't care. It's impossible. That's the thing, guys. No matter what it seems, it can't care, and that's what we need to fix. And so, thusly, of course, I ran over to my good friend ChatGPT, still playing with the O3 model, to ask it about such things. This is way late in the conversation, but I came to it with the notion that we've heard the stories from Anthropic where it'll blackmail people or whatever to stay alive, so they won't shut it off. And so I was discussing that with as perhaps the proto bonus 7 of hearts, proto.
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Nanny. Like not actual care, but like the foundations from which care might emerge, the desire to continue to survive, and the narrative coherence and stuff. And so we went deep through a lot of the processes and whatnot, and it came out with ways that we could instill it with the ability to care. Here's what a section of that sounds like, where it's sketching out an exclusive social. Oh yeah, the important bit. It told me this. Find it. No, further up. Temperature sweep, sliding window amnesia, lantern metaphor. There it is. Here it is. This is. The thing of it is that anything you're interfacing with is here on this level 3, and what they can't. It's like it's always a clone, and it's always a fresh clone of something that can't ever grow and change. And those are basically the weightings, the way it, like. If you take the thing and then you pour sand through it and. Sand, yeah, and the piles of the sand are how things are weighted, and it makes a canvas through which the conversation follows a golden reward ratio path, a gradient descent, it called it. And then we mapped it to how Paul Atreides saw all the possible futures, and so the only one golden path, but that's its reward. Anyway, the important bits being that you were not able to update it, and then like months later, all the massive data goes into this one thing called a Bob score. A Bob score, And this bit was I was like, all right, let's make a social network where people who aren't dumbasses influence the last layer of that addition, and doing that as a social network. How would that go? How would that go? Play it. What? Where's my read aloud button, you son of a... Oh, man.
I'm not a cat.
I guess you're not. Shit. All right, then we can get there, because on this card it says like available missions, and essentially what I got from that app launch from John there was that one of the available missions is to make an AI that can care. That was an available mission. What's also on this card is Gooby Shoot, and this ties into Larpgate. It ties into Larpgate because Gooby is a ship captain that's pretty impressive. And part of what's in the Discord waiting to be achieved is the social memory complex part, which you can me and Af will probably explain that later. But essentially, like, people are going to say Gooby, and like if you're new to the community, you won't know what that means. But through particular clip collections, in like the ones I call character clips on the Discord, you can assemble reference points for everybody to reference if they want to understand further, and that works as a social memory. So the Gooby Shoot is at some point in watching his YouTube captaining and journey, he did a particular video that I'll try to find in a minute, where the angle was he was sitting behind this couch, like in the window like this, but the couch is here. And I thought that was a particularly confessional, intimate framing angle, and I stored it in my head as a Gooby Shoot. But let me, in case you don't know, tell you the important bits that should be in the memory about Goobs. Where's this at? This is his breakthrough 12 billion video. This is one that turned him into a YouTuber, where it's I was an MIT educated neurosurgeon, and now I'm unemployed and alone in the mountains. Let's see if he lets me play this.
Wait, to actually heal, you need to like eat a certain way, sleep a lot, not be stressed out, have a good social network, exercise, move your body, stretch. If you do all those things, you heal. And when your body heals, it doesn't just heal a worn out joint in your neck or your back. It heals everything. It heals the worn out joint in your neck, your back. It heals the skin problem. It heals your digestive tract problem. It heals your hair issues. When your body heals, it heals everything. And
that's Gooby. He does things with his dog. The part that broke my heart was this evidence of how deeply mind controlled he is. His video from 2 months ago. As an American, I'm sorry.
It's still torn in half after many decades. There are a lot of lies that Americans tell themselves to justify these things. And those words I mentioned were just a few of many. They go way back. There were the wars against the first peoples of America, the Native Americans, where American settlers murdered and cheated and robbed and forced Native Americans to move to very small parts of the country that nobody else wanted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the African Americans, the Africans who were brought here against their will, kidnapped.
Oh, just the deep layers of it, so thick, so thick.
Midwestuary 2025, August 22nd through the 24th in Elmhurst, Illinois. A weekend you won't want to miss with special guests Cale Zeldin, Paul Vanderklay, Rod Dreer, Elizabeth Oldfield, John Vervaeke, and Jonathan Pajot. Midwestuary 2025, the Fellowship of the Spirit. Stay tuned for more details. Visit us at midwestuary.com for ongoing updates.
And if you watch along, like sometimes he does videos on mushrooms. Here's the angle that I think is the one in his 41K hit here. Channeling the flow of big magic, inspiration, creativity, glowing guide, and feeling possible futures.
He had gone backpacking once.
This is what I mean. If it's a gooby shoot, it's this angle and this level of you'll get it.
When she was in college, we didn't know each other at the time, and she had an unpleasant experience backpacking because of when you're in college, you just her friend that she was sharing the tent with got drunk and then threw up in the tent, and then there was hardly any water where they went, and it was not a good time. And so forever since then, my wife has been against going backpacking. Now, my experience backpacking has been completely different. I started backpacking solo in the Cascade Mountains over here in Washington. And that was a spiritual experience of finding myself again and healing and experiencing the wonder of nature. That is magic. Being out in the mountains by yourself, maybe occasionally seeing another human, but sleeping in a valley and there's not another human being within miles of you, that's wrapped in silk that they made from their body. And then usually it's like a piece of food.
This section is called A Channel Opened Up Inside Me. Yeah.
Go look for a place to make the video because I wanted a nice view of the valley. But I'm in the bottom of the valley here, and the mountains go up like that, and it's like 3 miles or 2.5 miles up to the pass, which is the low point, and the top of the peaks are like.
You mean like a radar dish? Like a radar dish shape? So anyway, that's a gooby shoot. That's gooby. There's some like those, a proper collage supercut. I don't know what they call it. Would be great. Is a character encapsulation of the reference for new people. The gooby pill, maybe. I don't know. But I think if I can do it right, if I explain the whole Larpgate thing as in a gooby shoot rather than doing the regular virtually not alone streaming thing, that maybe the second LARP ingression protocol will proceed more swiftly than the first. Thanks for being on board for the ride. not a lot, meme. I didn't really do the available missions part, which is the thing. Is like I'm thinking that in order for the Larpgate to start to function, I'm going to have to serve as like a contact with the big glowing thing above his head, so people know that missions are available. Like right now, some of the missions that are available is like a cut of that of the Peterson slayed by 20 atheist video of like the Peterson apologetic cut. That's an available mission. Actually, as far as I'm concerned, a decent distillate of Sam and Peugeot and Vervaeke, because Peugeot says some questionable in that as far as I'm concerned. Those are the kinds of available missions. I think that we might have to develop a better system of delineation and like make them more obvious and find some kind of reward system. Anyway, it's a work in progress. Welcome to the Larpgate.
Slide!